iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. I know it's been such a while since I've gotten back to you, but man, this has been quite the experience. I was in Vegas for the Fantasy Football World Championships. And then, of course, as you all know, I live in Southwest Florida. So we had to evacuate my wife and kids. They came out to Vegas to see it for the first time. And we were stuck out there for, not that it's a bad place to be stuck, you know what I'm saying, but we were stuck out there. We thought we were going to be able to go home Tuesday and then Thursday and then finally go on Wednesday and then basically get in there and they cancel the flight. Bottom line is we go to Atlanta and we get home last night about 9 o'clock at night. So we're finally home. We've made it. We are here. Not too much damage around the house, but I can't say the same for the rest of the area. It's very much like a ghost town and a lot of areas are closed. So it's very sad indeed. And if you guys care to reach out in any way, shape, or form, I'm sure the Red Cross could absolutely use your help down here, both in Houston for Hurricane Harvey and, of course, for Hurricane Irma, the victims there. And they've closed schools for another week because they had to use schools as shelters, and it's just a big mess, as you might understand. Speaking of big messes, let's get to the action here. The Houston Texans played the Cincinnati Bengals. I just am so tired of Thursday night games. They are horrific. I don't have any other word for it. They're unwatchable. I mean, Cincinnati looked terrible at home. There was one good play in this entire game, the Deshaun Watson run for a touchdown. I mean, that was the only good play in the game. That's how bad this game was. Deshaun Watson, 15 for 24, 125 yards. He's not a very good quarterback. He's really not. It's going to take him a couple of years to be better. I'm not saying this to be mean. I don't hate Deshaun Watson. I just think it's going to take him a while to get better. I mean, did have 5 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown, and basically he stayed alive because Tom Savage was going to get killed. I mean, Geno Atkins almost murdered Deshaun Watson a couple times. I think he took it easy on him. I mean, how many sacks did the guy have? Like 17 last night? I mean, he hit him on every play. The running game was good. The 18 for 61 for Lamar Miller. Donta Foreman was 12 for 40. That was good. After DeAndre Hopkins, who was 7 for 73, there's nobody out there even worth using on Houston. I don't care whether they're injured or not. It's DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller, Foreman, and nothing. For Cincinnati, Andy Dalton, just a train wreck, 20 for 35, 224 yards. Just bad playing. A.J. Green wants the ball. I don't blame him. I would want the ball too. I mean, when he's only getting 8 targets, that's a problem. Brandon LaFell getting 7, Alex Erickson getting 6. I don't care. A.J. Green is the best player on the field. Get him the football. Joe Mixon finally looks like he's going to get some more playing time. 9 carries, 36 yards. If the Mixon owner in your league is like a little disgusted with him, then maybe now is about the best chance you can get him. So I would take a look at Joe Mixon right now. I think his value only gets higher. I do. I think his value improves. But this was a terrible game. This was really bad. I have no other words for it. Really bad. All right, let's start taking a look at some of the matchups here. I'm going to do a quick and dirty sketch for you with each of the games. So in the future, you know that I'm on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, on Saturday mornings from 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern. And then Ronas and I are on Sunday mornings from 10 to 11. We'll also be in the message boards on Scout Fantasy. And, of course, check out our new site at scoutdfs.com for all the great DFS information you can find. But right now I'm going to give you a quick and dirty sketch of the games as I see them. Cleveland at Baltimore. This could be a letdown game for Baltimore. They played really well last week. I don't know how I feel. They should go 2-0, right? I mean, they're better than Cleveland. But is that going to happen? I'm not so sure. So I worry about that. I think Baltimore wins this game, but don't kid yourself. I think Cleveland plays well in this game. I don't really like Isaiah Crowell. I'm down on him. But Terrence West should have a good game. Buck Allen should have a good game. Keep your eye on Baltimore here. For Cleveland, I like Corey Coleman. I do. I'm a big fan of Corey Coleman. I'm not big on Kenny Britt this year, so for me it's Coleman, maybe a little Duke Johnson. I just don't see Curl with a big game. Buffalo's taking on Carolina. Man, Carolina, you know how much I hate Cam Newton. Now, this is a revenge narrative game. If any team would know how to play Cam Newton, it would be the Buffalo Bills, because Sean McDermott was the defensive coordinator there for the Panthers for the last few years. I think Buffalo's going to give Carolina problems. I think that they will know how to handle them as well as anybody. Who to beat deep, who to take advantage of, how to scheme them. You know Sean McDermott wants to play well in this game. You know he wants to go down there and do a good job with Riverboat Ron. So I think Buffalo will keep it competitive. I don't know who's going to do well. I think the field goal kickers will do well in this game. I really don't love this game here. Defensively, I like it, but not much more than that. But I am interested to see what happens there. Arizona and Indianapolis. Here's another revenge game. I mean, you know I'm all about the revenge narrative. This one's a big one here. Bruce Arians goes back to Indianapolis, who basically got rid of him and kept Chuck Pagano. Bad life decision. I would have kept Bruce Arians. I mean, I know Chuck Pagano was sick, but Bruce Arians got his opportunity. He's a very good coach. I really like Carson Palmer this week. I really like Larry Fitzgerald this week. Am I worried about no David Johnson? Yes, of course I'm worried about no David Johnson. I think Kerwin Williams is better than people think. I think Andre Ellington will be serviceable at third down. I don't really like Chris Johnson. I think Kerwin Williams can handle this job. I do. And I think he'll get more carries than people expect. For Indianapolis, if you don't have Andrew Luck, you got nothing. You have nothing. It's a big problem. Big, big problem. I wouldn't start anybody in this game for Indianapolis. I really wouldn't. Tennessee and Jacksonville. Tennessee's big problem was that they have nobody in the secondary. The front seven is pretty good, so will this be the week? And I don't know why the Houston didn't do this last week. Hopefully Tennessee will. I want to make Blake Bortles beat me. I want to put 8 men in the box against Leonard Fournette and have Blake Bortles beat me. Now, the problem is that Marquise Lee is probably going to be a very good play this week. I like him. He's going to be a visionary play. Mainly because Tennessee's secondary stinks. Absolutely stinks. So we saw that last week. I mean, Amari Cooper should have had like 7 touchdowns last week if he didn't have the drops. I'm interested to see how Leonard Fournette does against the Tennessee defense. I'm ready to watch that. We'll see what happens there. Philadelphia, Kansas City, another revenge game. The Big Tomato, Andy Reid against his old Philadelphia Eagles. I think the Eagles are in for big, big, big trouble this week. Kansas City, first of all, always plays well at home. I can see Carson Wentz making mistakes. Doug Peterson used to play against Andy Reid, so there's a revenge narrative there for him. I think the secondary is really not doing well for Philadelphia. Who's going to stop Tyreek Hill? Who's going to stop Kareem Hunt? Who's going to stop Travis Kelce? I don't see it. I think Alex Smith has a big week this week. I think he goes back-to-back with big weeks. So I really do not like the Eagles this week. More revenge narrative. More revenge narrative. New England at New Orleans. Are you kidding me? Welcome home, Brandon Cooks Roto. If Tom Brady is not throwing 4 touchdowns this week, I will be the most shocked man in the universe. New England on the road in New Orleans? This is just, that's like the jackpot going off there in a Vegas casino. Okay? So I'm loving Brady. I'm loving Cooks this week. Conversely, I always love Drew Brees. Gotta like a little Michael Thomas action there. I might even throw a little Alvin Kamara action there. If they're behind in this game, you've got to think that Alvin Kamara will be out there. I know that Adrian Peterson is frustrated. Don't really care. Minnesota at Pittsburgh. What do we know? Ben Roethlisberger at home. That's what we know. Minnesota's got a very good defense. I get that. But the secondary is not very good. And that's a running theme here with a lot of these teams. Good pass rush, decent linebackers, bad secondary. You can't win in the NFL with a bad secondary. You've got to be able to cover people. And if you can't cover the Pittsburgh Steelers when you're on the road and you're at Heinz Field, Ben Roethlisberger is going to light you up. So I really like Big Ben this week. I like Le'Veon Bell last week. Let's give Le'Veon Bell a mulligan for last week. I think he rebounds this week in a big way. Chicago at Tampa Bay. Now, many of us forget that Tampa Bay did not play last week. Chicago did play, and they almost won that game. They really could have won that game, except for some bad drops in the end zone at the end. Jordan Howard with a drop, Bellamy with a drop. Really not a good job there. But I like Tampa Bay. I do. I like Tampa Bay. The one guy who I think is interesting this week for Chicago is Tariq Cohen. I love this guy. Now, I'm going to say this tomorrow. I'm going to say this on Sunday. I might say this every week for the next 16 weeks. When a new player comes along, most fantasy owners are very hesitant into believing in them, right? Oh, Tariq Cohen, he's a rookie. What is he going to do? Here's what he's going to do. He's going to perform at the highest level. He is very good player. So I'm not afraid to use him at home. I'm going to use him in DraftKings for sure. Tampa Bay, Jacquizz Rodgers. There's no Doug Martin, and Charles Sims sucks. Jacquizz Rodgers is going to get 20 touches this week. He's a guy you want in your lineups. Okay? Miami at Los Angeles Chargers. Miami on the road there. I don't like when East Coast teams go west. Jay Cutler, who knows what's going to happen? He's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you get with Jay Cutler. I like the Chargers this week. I like the Melvin Gordon this week. I like Keenan Allen Roto this week. I like Phillip Rivers this week. I don't think the Chargers go 0-2. I just don't see that happening. I like them here. The Jets at the Raiders, man, oh man, the Jets. You go from Buffalo, now you go to the black hole. Really, it just doesn't get, it's just going to be ugly here. I read an interesting article about Robbie Anderson. He's like, throw me the football, Josh McCown, but they couldn't do it. So I'd like to think Robbie Anderson maybe gets a little lucky this week, but this game is all about Marshawn Lynch. I don't see how he doesn't have 2 touchdowns. So if you're playing on FanDuel, I don't know how you're not starting him. I know that I would. Dallas at Denver, this is an ugly game here. Dallas played very well last week, but can Ezekiel Elliott, get through the Orange Crush defense? So this is a Dak Prescott week, but you know what? Des Bryant is there and Jason Witten is there, but Denver's got a really tough defense. I don't know what happens here. I can't really predict this one. I think Denver may pull it out, but Denver's got to get something done offensively. I mean, Trevor Siemian has to play better. Dallas not a great defense. Denver has to step up right now and make a really big impression. Big game here. Okay, a couple more games for you here. I want to get to this next one here. Washington at the Rams, and it's very funny. I was with Scott Atkins last week and Ian Ritchie, and it was Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Vegas time, and we looked at each other and we were like, we really love the Rams this week. And they did. We just hated the Colts. I like the Rams this week again. Interestingly enough, Sean McVay against his old team. You don't think that he wants to beat Jay Gruden? I think he does. Now listen to what I'm saying here. I'm going to give you a play. He's going to be in a visionary plays tomorrow. I promise you that. Cooper Kupp. Now, Josh Norman is probably going to take Sammy Watkins. Bashad Breeland is going to take Robert Woods. Who's going to take over Cooper Kupp? And look at the third receiver last week for the Eagles, Nelson Aguilar. This guy hadn't done anything ever in his NFL career, and he makes a play. And Aguilar stinks, and Cooper Kupp is good. So could you imagine what Cooper Kupp is going to do? He's going to do something good. So I really like Cooper Kupp this week. I'm all in on Cooper Kupp. I'm in on the Rams. I think the Rams win. Okay, I want to talk about something here. Russell Wilson screwed me last week. He really did. Screwed me. Doug Baldwin screwed me. Paul Richardson screwed me. And right now you look at that game, you're like, oh, Russell Wilson, man, you killed me. I'm not using you. You can't think that way in fantasy football. I know Russell Wilson killed you last week. I absolutely and unequivocally get it. Screwed me too. That said, I got to go back to him this week. And great DFS players always think that way. Just because you've got me last week doesn't mean you're going to get me this week. I like him very, very much. And I think Russell Wilson to Doug Baldwin and Jimmy Graham, this is a good week for Seattle. This is a get healthy week. This is go home and put up 42 points against the San Francisco 49ers who stink. That's what this week is about. And then finally, the Sunday night game, Green Bay versus Atlanta. I mean, this is a really good game. I think there should be a lot of points in this game. I love Julio Jones-Roto in this game. I love Matt Ryan in this game. Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Ty Montgomery. There's a lot to like in this game. Last Sunday night's game was absolutely terrible. I mean, the Giants in Dallas, I'm not sure if that game was worse than last night's Texans and Bengals game. I mean, they were both atrocious. But I really like this week's Sunday night game. Very good stuff. And I think it should be high scoring. So, try to have a play in there if you can do it for DraftKings purposes and FanDuel purposes. You may need it. You may need it because that game is going to have a lot of points. So you better have a big, big lead before you go into that game because there should be 60 points scored in that game. And I'm going to address that. I'm going to take a look at that right now. I didn't do that yet, but let's take a look. What I always like to do is find out where Vegas is looking, right? So when I see that, it helps me figure out who to play. So let's see. Tennessee and Jacksonville's a 41. Cleveland and Baltimore's a 38.5. Buffalo, Carolina's a 43. Patriots, Saints is a 56.5. Hello. Cardinals, Colts is a 44. Eagles, Chiefs, 48. That's not bad. Vikings, Steelers, 45. Bears, Bucks, 43. Dolphins, Chargers, 46. Jets, Raiders, 43. Redskins, Rams, 46. Dallas, Denver, 42. 49ers, Seahawks, 42. Packers, Falcons, 55. So what am I trying to tell you there? When you see a 55, you need to have a piece of that game. You need to have a piece of that game because the third best game on the thing is the Eagles-Chiefs, right? You're not getting rich on the Eagles-Chiefs. So you got to have a piece of the Packers-Falcons with the Patriots-Saints. Any combination of that platter there. If you're going to put a lineup in, whether that means you got to get Sanu in that game or Ty Montgomery, you need a piece of that game. So when you make a lineup, get a piece of that game in your lineup. You're going to wish you did. You're going to wish you did. I'm telling you that right now. All right, you know what else I'm going to tell you right now? I'm going to tell you right now it's time to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. But the office will be open on scoutfantasy.com. Enter the promo code Roto 2017. That's Roto 2017. You get half off your first month. Half off your first month. And check out scoutdfs.com right now. If I go to that site right now, which I will, okay? Scout DFS. Maybe if I could type, that would be helpful. Scoutdfs.com. Boom. What do I got a lot going on there. I've got the optimizer going on there. I've got the running back report, the quarterback report, the chalk report, DFS tips. Okay? Be a member. Be part of what we're doing. You love our scout scores. You love our optimizers, podcasts, videocasts. We're doing whatever we can to reach out and help you win big money. I need another rich friend. Hello? I need as many rich friends as I can have. That's how I roll. All right, guys, I'll be there in the message boards helping you out as much as I can over the coming weekend. You know that it's week 2. Let's kick some butt. This is Dr. Roto saying be well, take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!